First, let us know some facts about the tiny teacher. Ants are insects. They have three parts: head, thorax, abdomen. We have a slide on the ant. An ant has two stomachs. One is for food, the other is for food he will share with other ants. Isn't that interesting? Ant nests or ant hills. Ants live in a nest. It has lot of chambers for different things. Food, larvae, babies. Like us, we also have many rooms in our house. About the ants family, most ants in a nest are workers. They make the nest bigger, fight enemies, carry food. At night, the worker ants carry the eggs and larvae deep into the ground to keep them warm. The queen ant. There can be lot of female ants in a nest, but there is only one queen. Her job is to lay eggs, which the worker ants will look after. Her wings fall off because she does not need them anymore. She is much bigger than the other ants. You can see it in the slide. Their life cycle. The queen ant lays some eggs. These hatch into grubs. The worker ants feed them. They make a cocoon. In a few more weeks, they become an ant. So here is the picture of the life cycle. How first eggs are there, then it becomes grub, then we have the cocoon, and finally it develops into a adult ant. What is the favorite food of ants? They love insects, seeds, and sweet sticky food. So whenever you eat sweets and if a small piece falls on the floor, you see that ants multiply on them. Yes? So they love sweet sticky food. Now let us compare ourselves with the ants. So we do farming, but you will be amazed to know ants also farm. Leaf cutter ants use vegetation to grow fungus in their gardens to feed their colony. We take care of our children. Ants look after their young in large nurseries. Climate control. For climate control, they build nests with inbuilt air circulation channels to keep the nest at 77 degrees. We think about our future, what will I become, what role should I play. Ants have specific social roles to play in their colony. Some ants are soldiers, nurses, workers, queens. So they are quite similar to us. Flood control. Their nests have built-in water traps to prevent rain from flooding the nurseries. We send our children to schools for education. What do the ants do? They teach young ants the tricks of their trade, soldier or worker, or to become a queen. All of us enjoy talking. Ants also have their way of communicating. Ants leave chemical traces that pass messages to their comrades or friends about the location of food. So, ants were here long before humans. They have adjusted, adapted to the environment. Then came human, hunting, farming, irrigating, burning, building homes. Some amazing facts about ants. The average life expectancy of an ant is 45 to 60 days. Ants use their antenna not only for touch but also for their sense of smell. The head of the ant has a pair of large, strong jaws. The jaws open and shut sideways like a pair of scissors. Adult ants can't chew and swallow solid food. Instead, they swallow the juice which they squeeze from pieces of food. They throw away the dry part that is left over. I think now you know the tiny teacher better. So many facts we have learned about the tiny teacher. Now I'll be taking up the textbook. The textbook is before you. The story of the tiny teacher is about an ant's life, which is totally remarkable. It is the smallest yet the wisest creature we see in our daily lives. They live in comfortable homes that have hundreds of rooms and passages. Ants have feelers which they use to communicate, to greet other ants. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it the fly? No, it isn't. Is it the mosquito? No, not the mosquito. Then it must be the worm. No, none of these. It is the ant, the commonest, the smallest, but the wisest insect. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue. If somebody tells you the story of the ant, you will not believe because you will think it is a small and tiny insect. How can it do all these things? But you should understand that people have kept these ants as pets, observed their habits very closely, and then written facts about them. People have kept ants as pets, have watched their daily behavior closely, so we know a number of facts about this tiny, hardworking, and intelligent creature. An ant uses its feelers or antenna to talk to another ant by passing messages through them. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the wall. So now you are free sitting at home. You can observe the ants and you will find each ant greets all other coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. So they also want to communicate some messages. They also want to talk to their friends. So what do they use? They use their feelers. Each ant does its work intelligently and bravely. So the ants lead a peaceful life. We know so many other facts about ants' life. People have kept ants as pets. There are many kinds of ants. The most commonest are red ants and black ants. The queen ant is the mother of the entire population of the ants of a colony. It has a pair of wings. After its wedding flight is when she goes to meet the male ant, and then it gets rid of its wings. After that, it does nothing but lays eggs. Eggs hatch and grubs come out. Grubs take 2 or 3 weeks to become cocoons. Cocoons take 3 or more weeks to become perfect ants. Thus, it takes 5 or 6 weeks for a grub to become an ant. The textbook. There are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are the black or red ones. We have seen them since we are children, but haven't paid enough attention to them. Where do they live? So the homes of the ants are called ant hills or nest. And like our house, there are hundreds of little rooms and passages. And in some of these rooms, the queen ant lays eggs. Others are nurseries for the young ones, which are called grubs. Workers also have reserved quarters, and they spend most of their time searching for food. Some rooms serve as storehouses for this food. Soldiers have separate barracks. No worker has ever tried to live in a soldier's house. No soldier has ever gone out searching for food. No worker or soldier or cleaner has ever harmed a grub. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely and never fight with other members of the group. So human beings must learn all these things from the tiny teacher. That is why the chapter is called The Tiny Teacher. Many things we have to learn from this ant. Then we talk about the wedding flight. This wedding flight takes place on a hot summer day. The queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant, or it is called a drone. Flies up in the air. On its return to earth, what does the queen ant do? It removes its wings. Then she only lays eggs. Eggs hatch, grubs come out. Then it is the duty of the soldiers to guard them. Workers will feed the small baby ants and clean them. And they have a very systematic, good routine. These baby ants, they will be taken for exercise, for vitamin D, that is sunshine. After 2 or 3 weeks, the grubs become cocoons and lie without food or activity for 3 weeks more. Then the cocoons break and perfect ants appear. Now it is time for teaching and training. Now it is time for the little ants to go to school. So what do they learn? They learn their duties like workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners. After a few weeks of training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world for work. An anthill is a home not only for ants but also for some other creatures, beetles, less breeds of ants, and the green fly. So, in the anthill, some other insects also live, beetles, green fly. And why do these ants allow these foreign creatures or alien creatures to live in their nest? There are many reasons. They are very clever. They are allowing some other insects to live in their ant hills because some of them give good smell. So, like agarbatti, these other insects will give good smell to the nest. Some others will give sweet juice, and some are just like pets, so the baby ants can play with them. So they are very, very clever. The green fly is like a cow. The ants train it to give honeydew like milk with a touch of an antenna. So they milk it as human beings milk the cow. Have human beings learned as much as the ants have? Perhaps they haven't. So you have to learn and put all these things into good use, because ants have good sense of hard work, sense of discipline, sense of duty, cleanliness. They care for their young ones, and above all, they have firm loyalty to the land where they live. So we should also learn all these qualities from the ant. So man can learn many things from the ant, the tiny teacher. Hard work, sense of duty, cleanliness, and the most important, firm loyalty to the land, to the country. Hard work is easy to see as each ant does its duty regularly. Sense of duty and discipline are the most important quality of an ant's life. All ants together take care of the whole ant hill. Thus, the human beings have to learn a great deal from the ants.